Coming up on today's episode, Walmart's $99 Blu-ray player, junk or bargain? To RGB or not to RGB? That is our home theater PC question, and our picks from the new releases for July 21st, 2009.
HD Nation.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gamefly, Netflix, and GoDaddy.com.
Welcome to HD Nation. I'm Robert Heron.
And I'm Patrick Norton. HD Nation is your guide to the best in HD content, gear, and home theater. From over-the-air, satellite to online and Blu-ray discs, if it's HD, we likes it.
Indeed. We're not HD snobs, and sometimes we know that the best upgrade is just a minor tweak to your existing setup. We've got recommendations for any budget and any lifestyle.
Matter of fact, we might have a chance to do some serious high-end home theaters, like home theater of the stars, or the people who spend like their stars. Should we start out with the news?
Always.
All right, let's start with the news. Streaming HDTV news everywhere last week. Samsung announced that Blockbuster On Demand was coming to Samsung HDTVs, Blu-ray players, and home theater systems. We might have paid more attention, but Sony announced that their Bravia Internet HDTVs would be getting Netflix streaming, at least the ones that have the Internet Video Link module.
Which means that Bravia TVs are trying to catch up with LG and Samsung Blu-ray players, like the one right behind us, many of which already support Netflix video streaming.
Yeah, notice we said Sony HDTVs, Sony's Blu-ray players, and the PS3 lack any fabulous streaming video service. Xbox 360 owners may feel free to point and laugh and avoid looking at their Xbox HD DVD drives that are sitting kind of useless right now. Unless you bought a lot of videos for $5 as HD DVD disappeared.
I did.
Actually, we all did. Okay, so here's my question for you. Are HD makers trying to stuff everything into the flat panel?
I would think so, of course. If you're running a sweet 1080p HD TV, you might not be loving the online streaming video.
It's kind of funny. It was like I was recording something with Ryan Block over at GDGT.com last week, and he's like streaming video to his massive flat screen is perfect. He doesn't care about Blu-ray. Well, he kind of cares about Blu-ray, but he doesn't care about Blu-ray, but he likes the immediate satisfaction of streaming video. I mean, there's just not a lot of streaming HD right now.
Not really. Actually, some of the first streaming HD I've seen was some of the Revision 3 shows, actually. Was it Pixel Perfect? Is that one of the shows? They actually had that in 720p. It's web video, though. That's the whole key. It's going to be more compressed than any of your HD that you'll see on TV or via Blu-ray, of course. And that's one of the main problems. But more and more of these TVs are incorporating PC-like features. Basically, the Yahoo widget system and other systems are enabling them to just drop these features in as they become available.
I gotta say, I mean, I refer to it as the near HD experience. Netflix, Roku, Vudu, Apple TV, LG, Samsung Blu-ray disc players, Xbox 360, TiVo HD, Boxee. I think there's some kind of a massive streaming HD roundup in our future.
We should, most definitely.
Yeah. All right. Be fun to see which one actually has the most HD titles. Oh, and then there's pay-per-view. On satellite and cable. Do us a favor, email hdnation@revision3.com. Let us know what you're using to stream video, or if you'd rather avoid it.
Up next, the $98 Blu-ray player. Is Patrick going to be bummed about the $270 Blu-ray player he just bought? And our picks from this week's Blu-ray releases. Right now, let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors that keeps the show coming, Gamefly. Gamefly is the largest online video game rental service and offers a choice of over 6,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, Gamefly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as you like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and Gamefly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the Gamefly website and the game is yours at a discounted price. Gamefly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. And as an HD Nation fan, you can get a 2-week free trial by going to www.gamefly.com/HDNation. Some restrictions apply. See the site for details. Support us by supporting our sponsors.
Our inaugural episode, it was a couple days too late to talk about HBO's Entourage, and a few weeks too late for season 2 of True Blood, or Mythbusters, or The Deadliest Catch, and you probably all know about the season tickets for Major League Baseball, where you can get every single game for every single team in the...
What Patrick is trying to say is that we're curious if you're as interested in finding HD releases on cable and satellite networks as on disc or online. Let us know by sending us an email at hdnation@revision3.com. All right, let's talk about the new releases for today, July 21st, 2009. There's a dog pile of them. 300, The Complete Experience, Midnight Express, Coraline, and Watchmen Director's Cut stand out.
What? No, I pronounce you Chuck and Larry. If anything begs for high def, it's Jessica Biel. Best reason to watch that movie. Hi, honey. Hope you're not watching.
We're not sure what the point of 300 The Complete Edition is, except they bumped up most of the extras to full HD, plus you get some awesome picture-in-picture bonus views similar to what they originally offered on the HD DVD version.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So that's basically where they do the picture-in-picture?
It's the blue screen picture-in-picture, so you can actually have a window in the corner that shows you what the movie looks like before any of the post-processing or any of the special effects are added. I found at times you're looking at it and going, you're surprised by, oh, of course, there's a lot of CG in this scene. Other times you're like, there's hardly any. And it's great to be able just to look back and forth and go, wow, they did a lot of post work on this movie.
Because in some cases it was like, a half-naked Spartan in a big green or blue room. Right?
Oh, just some of the scenery too. It's just like, okay, that field didn't really exist. Oh, that whole room didn't really exist. And the blue screen work and watching actors work in that environment, it really makes the movie, I think, all the more enjoyable.
And will you treasure the 40-page collectible book that
I
comes
don't
with
know. I will have to see the book first, but I'm sure if you're a fan of the series or the original storyline, heck, it's a collector's edition, and it's on sale. Just get it.
And there's a digital version that you can move onto portable devices
Always
in case
nice.
you want to. In the Restoring Classic Movies That Disturbed the Hell Out of Me as a Child category, the 1978 classic Midnight Express is the mildly terrifying story of Billy Hayes, or more to the point, Billy Hayes in a Turkish prison. This is primarily known for being Oliver Stone's first Oscar for Best Screenplay, and it is a classic. Justin Sluss over at HighDefDiscNews.com called this one of the most impressive late 70s 35mm high-def transfers. That's a big deal. A lot of great movies in the 70s have horrendous transfers. Ton of detail on the Blu-ray transfer that nobody's seen since the original theatrical release, if then, given the quality of the average theater in print back in the day. I think my favorite feature on this disc, though, is that it includes the original mono Dolby Digital 2.0 at 192 kbps track, along with a new, freshly mixed Dolby True HD 5.1 surround sound mix. We're going to have links to Justin's review in the show notes. Great site.
It's epic. Watchmen fans will be thrilled to hear the director's cut is out this week. It tacks on another 25 minutes of the deleted action from the comic book into the theatrical release that came out earlier this year. But it doesn't integrate the Tales of the Black Freighter video based on the comic in a comic in The Watchmen. That animated feature was released as a separate Blu-ray title back in March. Now later this year, the Ultimate Edition promises to bring a more full experience to Watchmen fans with allegedly 5 discs.
So it's like 2.5 hours to 3 hours. I think November it's going to be like a 5.5 day movie. I feel that one coming.
Sometimes more is better.
Yeah, and sometimes more is more. I'm looking forward to seeing Coraline, the movie adapted from Neil Gaiman's delightful novel. It's coming out on Blu-ray this week. Other releases include The Echelon Conspiracy, The Great Buck Howard, Prison Break, The Final Break, and Pushing Daisies, the complete second season. Coming up next, our review of Walmart's $98 Blu-ray special. We got a little help for the home theater PC HD enthusiasts out there. But first, let's thank one of our sponsors, Netflix. If you're looking for a place to find a great selection of Blu-ray discs, look no further than our sponsor, Netflix. With Netflix, you can rent over 90,000 titles online, including, we're willing to bet, more Blu-ray titles than your local video store has. Free shipping both ways to your doorstep. You never have to leave the house again, I guess, except maybe to send them back. But they got over 40 shipping centers, so deliveries happen in a single business day in most cases. Plans start from $4.99, but as a new member, you can get a no-risk 2-week trial membership at www.netflix.com/HDNation, and make sure you type in that www when you're using that code. Please support HD Nation by supporting our sponsors like Netflix. A lot of you have gotten wind of a new sub-$100 Blu-ray player now available at Walmart. Not that I'm bitter, but it's only $172 less than I just paid for mine 2 weeks ago. This low-cost HD box is priced to move, but doesn't deliver the goods to your monitor. To find out, Mr. Heron went over, fought his way through the lines, and is giving us the once-over of this new $98 Blu-ray player from Magnavox.
For $98, I really had zero expectations for this Blu-ray player. That's just that is the first Blu-ray player for under $100 brand new that I've seen anywhere.
Does Magnavox still exist as like a television company, or is this a classic like Polaroid where somebody brought the name and the logo and is basically stenciling on stuff from China?
The same company that makes the products for Polaroid also makes the products for Magnavox. So, and they're currently in a vicious lawsuit with another company. I'd rather not get into that.
Let's not get into that. Because it was people are like, Magnavox is back in business, and like, no, but you actually took it home and you couldn't break
on it, and I have yet to break it. And for $98, it's a terrific value. That's really the key selling point here. It is a It supports the basic features like 1080p output with HDMI, of course, and 1080p 24, so your movies can actually be supported in their native format if you have a TV that supports that. As all Blu-ray players, this is an up-converting DVD player as well. However, that only works via HDMI. Over component, you're going to be limited to 480i, unless it's an unprotected movie, but those are very rare to come across unless it's your own movie. Anyway, picture detail with movies. DVD up conversion, very detailed, and that was awesome. Also, it's got the sleek design. It's about 2 inches thick, which is about the going rate for these, and it's got the glossy face with the nice matte finish top, so when you stack it, it's not going to get all scuffed. I was surprised there's actually an SD card slot up front that gives you quick access to your digital pictures, which is super convenient, and I was running 10 megapixel images through this, and it was easy to scroll and do slideshows and all that good stuff.
Cool.
That's about the only multimedia support. You're not going to get your MP3 or DivX support, and of course there's no networking any which way, be it Ethernet, wireless, or otherwise.
So in theory, a new Blu-ray disc could come out that this will not play because it's not getting updates, or will it get updates on the firmware from Blu-ray discs, or what's going on?
No, yeah, that's the potential issue here, is that this is a new player, so right now I've had no compatibility problems whatsoever, and I've ran about a dozen new and old titles through it. Everything's been flawless, but when that day comes where you're going to come across a title that doesn't quite work right, will there be an update available on the Magnavox website that I can download? And apparently I'll have to burn it to a disk and then drop it in this player and update it. But looking on their site right now, there is no support update for it, although I haven't seen a reason to actually do it. So
guys, the big drawback, so there's no streaming video, there's no Netflix, no Pandora, no Blu-ray Live.
Yeah, BD Live support is out the window, but it is a Profile 1.1 player, so you get the picture-in-picture or your bonus view for supporting titles, which, like we were talking about 300 earlier, in that cool blue screen picture-in-picture function.
How about the load speeds? Like the early Blu-ray players, it was like 3 days from inserting the disc to seeing the movie.
Totally. Startup to tray eject times were average. We're talking about 17 seconds. Some players will actually split the tray out in about 3 or 4 seconds. However, all of those type of players take a little bit longer to fully wake up. So in the realm of reasonability, this is it's fairly normal.
So basically a little bit of boot up time, but nothing you're going to notice compared to the Sony and Samsung players.
No. And as far as going back to DVD real quick, its performance with DVD materials, particularly your 24p stuff, your cinema movies, it was phenomenal. Detail is exceptional on this. I thought I saw maybe a hint of softness in a couple of scenes here and there, but overall I was really impressed.
Cool.
It was really solid. And the remote, it's your cheap average remote. It's nothing too special, but you know what? It's got all the buttons and it works. And literally, this costs less than half of some of the other Blu-ray players out there right now. And that's really the big selling point, is that somebody finally broke that $100 price point.
And that's pretty good. It's not available on Walmart's website, so you can't track the stores. But Mr. Heron went over to the store, basically the only Walmart near us, and there was a big stack of them.
There was a huge stack, and there was no crowds. And I was just like, that's it. And I took a picture of the sign, and I said, $98, right? I was like, here you go.
Cheap, excellent quality with DVDs, solid quality with Blu-ray. Available now, $98.
That's it.
Coming up, Home Theater PC Help, our very first recession selection and our very first final pick. Right now, though, we need to thank one of our sponsors. GoDaddy, people, GoDaddy.com. Get reliable, secure web hosting without the long-term contract. GoDaddy's hosting plans are bigger and better than ever with 99% uptime, free 24/7 support, and no annual commitment. GoDaddy.com makes it easy to customize your own virtual dedicated server. Choose one of 3 popular plans or select your own Linux or Windows server with all the plan options you need. Use the code HDN2 to get $5 off $30 or more. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com, and you can help out HD Nation by using one of those codes. And be sure to check out revision3.com/GoDaddy for all the HD Nation GoDaddy deals and codes. Please support us by supporting our sponsors. In these tough economic times, we all want to save a buck or two, which is why we're starting a new segment catering to HD fans who want high def without spending a lot of cash. Something we're going to call our recession selection. This week's pick, Blu-ray delivery to your doorstep. We're talking Netflix and Blockbuster. Yes, Netflix is one of our sponsors, but unlike most of the rental shops in my neighborhood, they pack a lot of Blu-ray titles and they will deliver them again to your doorstep. And of course, the other big disc delivery service, Blockbuster. They don't charge extra for delivering high-def Blu-ray titles, and they let you drop discs off at a local shop if you, can't find a mailbox. Shouldn't be too hard. Save yourself time, money, and gasoline. Instead of running out and buying HD movies or dealing with a weak selection at the local store, get your shut-in on and have them delivered to your mailbox. And if you do decide to try out Netflix, do us a favor and sign up at netflix.com/HDNation. You'll be helped keeping us in business, and you'll get a free 2-week trial for your trouble. We got a question for all the home theater PC folks out there. Tommy's got a decision to make about pixel format. He writes, I have an HD PC with ATI Radeon graphics. It's feeding a 40-inch HD TV. ATI has a pixel format option in the Catalyst Control Center. What is it used for, and what's the best setting? I mainly use the HD PC for movies, TV, and pictures. Best regards, Tommy. All right, so pixel format lets you choose between the YCB, CR, and RGB output options, which is component or RGB?
Yep. Components also said as YPBPR too. That's usually what you'll see on the back.
Got it.
It should list both actually. And the big difference there is that component video, the YPBPR, that's used as a compression scheme for most video that you see, including Blu-ray discs, DVDs, and even broadcast video. It's actually using component because it's a good way to compress it and make it a smaller size for transport. Now you compare that with RGB, which is just raw red, green, and blue, delivered directly to the display device, and that's fairly common with your computer devices and computer displays.
It sounds like if I'm using a television, I use one, an HDTV, I use one, and if I'm using a traditional computer monitor, I use the other.
Yep, or hopefully you have a smart enough piece of software that knows to switch between both formats when it's dealing, say, with a video source versus, say, a computer source. And you'll see the same thing in game consoles. You'll actually end up with, say, on the Xbox 360 or the PS3, if you're looking at video content via disc, like, say, a Blu-ray movie on the PS3 or a DVD on the Xbox, if you could put up the right test patterns, you'd see it actually doing different things to the video depending on if it's video versus the computer output or game output. And in general, when you're going to a television set, you want to stick with component video output to produce the most detail possible and the best color reproduction, always.
And for a computer
it may
monitor,
seem unintuitive because you're like, oh, raw red, raw blue, raw green. Even if the TV is compatible with
pure, right, man?
you can actually end up losing detail because the video is originally, for video, it's originally encoded as component, and you want to stick with that all the way to the TV.
So basically, you'll get one less conversion of your video signal if you go with component.
Potential, or you just open up the possibility of potential loss of detail, which you want to avoid.
That
you
would
really
be
do.
bad. One last thing before we go, our final pick. It's something new. We're going to pick a category, say Blu-ray players or 42-inch HD TVs or home theaters in a box. You get the idea. We're going to give you our pick. I was thinking we start out with your top Blu-ray player. Because obviously, Ryan, we've got the amazing $98 player. I just paid $270 for my BDP S360.
That's a great player.
Why? Is that still your pick over the LG and Samsung with the Netflix and the Pandora? And
those are nice too, but the player you got is not only the most energy efficient player I've ever tested, it's one of the best up-converting DVD players. That's solid. I mean, overall, it's great. Although the lack of an eject button on the remote control for the S360, that's annoying. So annoying.
He's I once got heckled by a large group of people. I'm like, anytime I'd have a DVD player and there's no eject button, I want to hit eject. I want the freaking disc out by the time I walk across the room so I can yank it out and put it in the next disc.
I think they did it on purpose though, because that particular player also incorporates some great child protection features, disc protection features for children. You can lock the disc in the player really easily so that the kid can't, stick like a piece of bologna in there or something, ruin your afternoon.
You've met my son.
But I have to say my other top favorite player right now is LG's BD390. That was the first wireless Blu-ray player you could buy, integrated wireless, and that means 802.11. I think it's N, so it supports all the way up to that. It also supports multimedia streaming over DLNA, or using the DLNA protocol, the Digital Living Network Alliance protocol, meaning that all that content you have stored on your NAS device, compatible NAS device, or personal computer, you can move those pictures, music, and video right through that player and into your living room with ease. And on top of that, it is the fastest Blu-ray player, and it's also one of the best at up-converting as well. Not quite as good as your Sony, but a darn good player.
So if you have a ton of DVDs, take the Sony. If you've got a ton of streaming video that's compatible, take the LG.
I'm down
and if
with
you
that.
got no cash, take the Magnavox.
Totally.
Okay,
Great way to put it.
normally we're going to pick one thing. In this case, you got to pick from three. By the way, if you're into the games thing as much as movies, you should check out Co-op, Revision 3's video game show. Their next episode features all top-flight indie projects you will not want to miss. For the iPhone, it's the venerable Critter Crunch. For the 360, they've got the irreverent Splosion Man with exclusive footage of a never-before-seen level. And to top it all off, Brad Shoemaker from Giant Bomb stops by to talk about an utterly fantastic fantasy RPG platform for the PC. It's called Trine. At least we think it's called Trine. Check out Co-op every Tuesday at revision3.com/co-op.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode of HD Nation. As always, we want to know what you think, so send your comments, questions, or suggestions to hdnation@revision3.com.
Or hang out with the other viewers in the HD Nation forums at revision3.com/forum. And you can find the links, pretty much everything we talked about in the show, that's going to be on revision3.com/HDNation on the individual show page. Hey, I want to thank you for watching. I'm Patrick Norton.
Hey, I'm Robert Heron. We'll see you next week.